The girl who helped the Underground Railroad. In the 1800s, there was a girl named Mabel walking her cow to get milked, when she ran into 5 Confederate soldiers on horse. One was holding a Confederate flag, and the others had a sword on them. They are looking for an escaped slave in the South. Mabel slows down to let the Confederates go in front of her because she doesn't trust the big man with a sword. Then she picks up her cat Boots, holds on to the rope harder. Her dad thinks having slaves is a good idea, even though she thinks having slaves is wrong. Mabel tells her cow, Betsy, stay near me or they make you into their dinner.
It was time to feed the chickens. Mabel went to the barn and grabbed the seeds. The chickens knew what was going on. They all started to gather near her.
Mabel's mom was calling her to get food from the barn. She came out and gave Mabel a basket.
Then Mabel went into the barn to grab the food.
As Mabel is in the barn, she is startled by a noise
of moving corn stalks, and she went to check it out to see what it was.
Mabel went to check the rustle in the corn, and she saw a face.
When she saw the eyes, she started running as fast as a cheetah back to the house.
After that, Mabel reached their house but was too scared to go in.
Later that night, the family sat down for dinner. Dear God, thank you for this friendly dinner we are about to have. Amen, the family said. Mabel couldn't pay attention to the prayer because all she was thinking about was the person in the barn.
After dinner, Mabel quietly sneaks out of her family's farmhouse. While she's walking out, she looks back at her house to make sure her family doesn't see her. She is holding a napkin with food in it and using a lantern to guide her way. Mabel offers the slave cornbread. Would you like some sweet and soft cornbread? She didn't want to scare the slave away.
This will do nicely for my knitting collection, the old woman said. Mabel had to be stealthy as she snuck back into her house. I should bring this food to the slave. He might need it, Mabel said. Mabel brought the slave food for the next few days.
A few days later, Mabel was bringing the slave water. Mabel suddenly seen soldiers on her mom's farm.
A few minutes passed after Mabel noticed the familiar soldiers were at her grandma Alma's house. Have you other folks seen the slave running around here? We haven't seen anyone like that run around here on my farm at all, young man. I know y'all are old and have terrible, terrible memories and have such sluggish minds now, said one of the familiar soldiers. While the soldiers were trying to get anything out of Mabel's guardians, she was sitting in a hiding spot under the stairs with a little hole that peeks out from it. After a lot of bickering for a long time with Grandpa O'Neill, the soldier finally gave up and left with his comrade. Stupid old geezer. Just wasted my darn time. I should have gave him a good old lick to the face, said the annoyed familiar soldier.
That night, Mabel starts to walk quickly towards the chicken coop, which the slave is hiding because she is making sure the slave is okay after the Confederates left her family farm.
Mabel enters the food pantry and sees a toy figure on the ground. As she got closer, she noticed that the toy was made out of corn stalks. In the clothing wrap was the napkin she wrapped the slave's food in. The slave must have made it to say thank you for everything Mabel did to help.
After returning home, Mabel is laying down in her bed, getting ready to sleep, when she starts to think why she helped the slave. Did I do the right thing by keeping the slave a secret, even though I could have gotten in trouble by hiding the slave in a chicken coop?